What's up, fam? This is your host Tyler Burns with the Antidote television show, where Christ is a cure for culture and conversations create fertile ground for change. We're here at Flavor Fest at Crossover Church in Tampa, Florida. Really geeked, excited personally with the Antidote team. This is one of the top interviews that we've ever had from like a personal fan perspective. This is Collision Records artist Alex Faith. Alex, thank you so much for taking some time with this, man.
Thank you for doing it, man. We're holding our hand really long. I just did that on purpose.
That was the right hand of fellowship right there. Look that up. But yeah, so
all right.
From the time you were signed to Legacy to releasing Honest to God, Free Project, and then now here to Flavor Fest, it's kind of been a blur. What's that been like for you?
Man, very not blurrish.
Really?
So I mean, I can understand that perspective, but I mean, so it went from like maybe over a year ago or so, like Whit started giving me production just because he liked me for free. He was like, man, I like your stuff, let's do something. Over time we built, he came and stayed with me. We made like 4 or 5 of the songs and ended up making the album, or the mixtape, whatever you want to call it. And then we did, what would you say, Legacy Conference? So I did Legacy Conference, which was weird because I just put out a few songs, but I knew Kareem, who's like one of the elders at the church, that puts on Legacy Conference, and he asked me, hey man, can you come? And it was real weird because it was like, you'll have to drive up and find your own place to stay, but man, we'd love to have you come. And I was like, wow, this opportunity is great. I don't want to skip it. So I drove up, slept in my car, and stuff like that. So it was really cool. Yeah, definitely. So eventually I ended up staying in one of my buddies had a room, and so I stayed with him and things like that. But yeah, it wasn't really blurrish. It was very much like, you know, all the while, you know, my wife is, she's doing some stuff at work. So it's like, my time as an artist is like very minimal, you know what I mean? So when I think about it, it's like I don't spend a whole lot of, I spend a lot of time making music, but I don't spend a lot of time like going around being like, this stuff never happens for me, you know what I'm saying? So when I walk into a place like Flavor Fest and somebody's like, oh man, I really liked your album, I'm like, wow, you know about my album? Like, that's really cool. But like, you know, so the first time anybody ever recognized me in person was at Legacy Conference, and that freaked me out. And then after that, we did the album, and then I was talking to Whit. I didn't really want to come down here just because I'm not like, I don't know, it's really hard for me to kind of like fit in with like, hey man, we're all artists kind of thing. Cause it's like, I'm not really that yet. I don't feel like I'm there. You know, cause when I see dudes like other guys, some of the dudes that are in this room right now, it's like, man, like these dudes are like rappers. I've been fans of y'all for like 5-6 years, you know what I'm saying? I've been listening to you since I was a teenager. My parents used to buy me your CDs to get me to stop listening to secular rap music. Hey, I mean, I'm just saying. Don't make faces behind the camera. It makes me feel weird.
Eric Kai's behind the camera, yo.
Stuff like that. Yeah, no, it's not really, I mean, it's weird because it would feel like, yeah, man, if all I was doing was rap music, then I would probably feel like that. But it's like very small amount of time I'm functioning in this aspect of life. Like, I'm not a rapper ever, except for here, you know. Which is a weird feeling, especially when you come here and so many people know about your stuff. It's like, yeah, I just don't know how I feel about this, man. So it's still something I'm trying to process.
Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting. I'm still back at Legacy Conference where you said you slept in your...
Well, no. Well, so I drove up to Chicago, and the night that I got there, we got there at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'm not buying a hotel room to sleep for like 3 hours and get up and go try to do stuff. So I paid for a parking garage and slept in the car. I mean, it's stuff that's normal though. Like, I do that stuff regularly. It wasn't like a big sacrifice thing. And the guys at Legacy really took really great care of me. But it wasn't like I could get there and call somebody at 3-4 o'clock in the morning like, hey man, I need some place to stay. So,
yeah.
But that was an opportunity. I was like, man, I really don't want to skip this. This is kind of cool. I met my wife at Legacy Conference, and so I was like, man, like, I'd love to go back. I love those dudes like Brian and Kareem and a lot of the guys that are up there. Some of the things they do in Chicago is really like astonishing. I mean, I can't really think of another word for it, but really great stuff. So
what's a song right now from your Honest to God project that is just your song right now? I know it probably fluctuates for you, and some of that stuff, like you were even saying, was made like a year ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you said it doesn't fluctuate.
No.
What's the favorite? What's
Video Games is like my most favorite record I ever did in my whole life. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Like that joint is like me, and when just the production and stuff like on it. I love the production that we did for it. But just the way that we made it was the first time I was ever with a producer, and me and him, like I was with him when he made the track. I kind of directed him. I mean, he's wit, so I'm not really sitting over his shoulder like you should do this, you know. But kind of gave him the idea. I want to sample this song. I want you to do it this way. Let's make it sound like this, feel like this, and then he's making the beat. I'm writing the song. So we had the song done in about 3 hours. But it was just like it just came together, and then the lyrics, where I went with the song, it just felt really great. A lot of the other songs on the album I don't like very much. Some of like there's a few songs, and I'm not supposed to say this, like at least everybody around me is like, don't tell people you don't like your own music. Like,
that's just
I'm just saying,
mind blowing.
If I love my own music, like what kind of person does that make me? It's like, man, I just love my stuff. I love my stuff.
Spiritual.
The Lord has gifted me, and I just love my stuff, and you should too. But I like video games a lot. Have It All was cool. The beat gets kind of monotonous to me, every now and then. The intro is one of them ones too. A dude named Nate Robinson, who plays the drums for Reach Records artists, he made a beat, and then him and Wit collabed on it, and then that's probably my second favorite one on the record. So,
man, two things characterize you for me: honesty and humility. Like, and I know you're not gonna be like, hey man, I'm just going off of what I know. I know you're not gonna be like, hey, I'm a pretty humble guy. You know, but honesty to just put it out there, like, hey, I'm not feeling my own stuff yet. You know, I'm not feeling my own stuff at this point in time. And then that humility to say I'm looking around at these other artists and I'm peeping them, and I'm like, man, they're impressive. You know, like how did you cultivate that humility? And then how do you have the honesty to just say, it's not, music is just, it's one small sliver of my life, and I'm not really concerned about it.
Well, I mean, it comes from, it's really, I don't have the luxury of making music like a real big part of my life, you know what I'm saying? It's like music video premiere, the album drops or whatever, I'm probably sitting in class somewhere on campus, taking a test or doing something. Like, I'm a student right now, trying to finish my bachelor's degree and be a husband, and, you know, do part-time work and be a rapper, you know, when I have the time. And so it's like a weird juggling thing it's not, so I don't think I have the luxury of being like real arrogant or prideful about like my stuff. Like, it's so great because there's dudes who do this around the clock, like this is their life, you know, and so they have time to make their music, and sometimes I'm just like, man, I really wish I could make songs as good as these dudes. I mean, even guys that I know personally, like guys like Dre Murray, Kristen Gray, Swoop, like some of the guys that we directly do music with, dudes like Wit, just like how much time they invest in their craft and how great it is. But man, I wish one day I could get to a place where, like Chris has like raw talent, Swoop has raw talent, you know, Dre's got a catalog. It's just, you know, Hell's Paradise changed stuff for Christian rap. And Wit is like, man, hands down, like, you know, so the dudes that we do things with, I feel very inferior, so I don't feel like I have that luxury to be arrogant or prideful about my stuff, you know what I mean? But I don't feel like I'm humble about it either, you know what I mean? I don't think, it's crazy, man. Like, so as much as this is a sidetrack thing, as much as things bother me when people are judgmental about people in the public eye that they know, like, I can't believe that this dude did this song with somebody, you know, and I can't believe that they collabed, or I can't believe that this guy rapped on this producer's beat, and all this other stuff. But we'll turn around, there's other people who turn around like, oh, he's such a godly man. And it's like, really? Like pray for these dudes, because it's like, I mean, you know, people will say, oh, well, what you did was questionable there, you said something questionable on a song, you know, and there's people who will say that stuff, but then there's other people who are like, you're just so humble and honest, and I love that about you. And I'm like, man, like, if you only knew, bro, like, there's a kid, yeah, I mean, I don't say that to be disrespectful, he's really like a kid, he's like 15 years old, he commented on an Instagram picture of mine, he was like, I'm so disappointed in you, because I put something that he thought was was questionable on my Instagram, and my wife kind of commented on it, was like, hey, why are you disappointed? And he told my wife that he was like, man, well, I idolize this dude, like, and used those words. And I was like, dag, that's scary to me, you know, and just having like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can honest, like you can be honest in a song, and I know it doesn't make sense, but it's like you can come off as honest in a song and still be a liar in your life. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like everybody's like, oh, you're the honest rapper. I'm like, that's kind of paradoxical. You know what I mean? Like to be the Christian rapper who's the most honest guy. We're supposed to all be Christians, but it's something that I haven't quite understood yet, but I'm still getting used to like talking about it. So when I'm saying this stuff, I'm trying to like, I'm even processing through it while I'm talking to you, because I don't talk about my music very often.
You're making me want to go in like 5 different directions, but I'm gonna keep it short, brief, sweet. What's next? Okay, you came out honest to God. There's high anticipation for what's next from you guys. What's next?
So for me, I'm working, I want to say EP, but it's not really anything right now. I'm working on some songs that Swoop produced.
Okay.
And Swoop is an amazing producer, dog. So we have Wit and Swoop. And because Wit is like Slam, or Wit was Slam doing Body Art, but now he's producing for the We Live as Kings album. Swoop just sent me a folder with like 100 beats in it. And he was like, make stuff. So I've made like 3 or 4 songs so far, and a few of the songs are probably gonna get me in a lot of trouble. Not because of the honesty element, but I talked I did an interview with a dude named DJ Wado. And in that interview, I talked about some things that had been burdensome, some stuff that I've been doing in writing projects, about like white privilege and racism and institutional racism, things like that. How I feel about some of the stuff, and I've done some songs about it, or a song specifically about it. I'm trying to let that out pretty soon. Some other songs too. So, and then We Live as Kings.
People's going crazy.
Yeah, yo, I was like trying to keep a consistent train of thought while people are being mad loud. Something funny happened over there.
I can tell.
But then the We Live as Kings album, which is gonna be me, Swoop, and Chris, and maybe some other folks. So,
that's awesome. So, you talked about white privilege. I was gonna wrap up, but you kind of. So, just full disclosure, you're in an interracial marriage.
Yeah.
And so, like even how I characterize that, like you even said, okay, why are you saying full disclosure? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's hardwired in our brain to see that that's different.
Yeah, I mean.
And so, to what I was gonna say is, how have you seen your role within this small subgenre being different and having a different culture, different affiliation, different background, different marriage?
I have a lot of respect for a lot of the things dudes do and talk about, but it becomes stale at some point. Especially with dudes, like I talk to them and they have burdens that they want to talk about in their records, but they just don't do it because something going on somewhere, and I just don't know. Like I just can't. I don't know if my fans will take the song the right way. I'm like, well, if it burdens your heart and it's something that you have a platform, like you can speak about it if you want to. And so for me, I'm just like, you know, at this point in time, I have some kind of platform. People listen to my music, they like my songs, and so if I feel burdened about something and I want to convey that message, like if I have a platform, I'm gonna use that to talk about what I'm burdened about, my perspectives on it, my view. So my place in the genre, I don't really know, because I don't feel, even with Christian rap, like I don't know if I have any type of like connections. I mean, I'm signed to a Christian hip hop label, so I'm connected to it. But it's weird because I'm just not like, I'm not like super, like I talk to dudes and they're like, oh, the Christian rap genre and where we're going, what direction. And I'm like, really? Like, you guys think it like this?
Exactly. Yeah, like because I was immersed in that for now going on like 9 years.
Yeah.
It's like a different, like it's natural for me to think about that. But for you, it's like I'm coming in from kind of an outsider's perspective.
Yeah. Like, you know, these guys have like histories. Wado just did a post on his website about like a brief history of Christian rap. It goes back to the 80s, and I'm like, what? This is nuts. And he's talking about dudes, and I should know all these people. And I'm like, man, like I really want to respect a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Kind of started it or whatever. But I mean, I've been doing Christian rap for like 4 months, for real. You know what I mean?